Uh, Amazon MGM Studios head Jennifer Salk is indicating that it could purchase the rights to the Lord of the Rings from Embracer Group.
Would that make it, if they made something with it, then would they make something worse? Is that possible?
They're the ones making the Rings of Power, mate, and the Rings of Power is awful.
Right.
Could they make something worse? I don't know. I don't want to find out. They would have to really up their game. Because they've made the worst thing so far. Although we have yet to see the War of Rohirrim, which is going to be trash-tastic. So we'll see. I just can't imagine it being worse.
They're threatening us with a bad time.
Terrible time. Do you realize how few people would watch this?
Jesus. But I'll say from the off before we get into it, I don't think this is remotely a possibility. This is Jennifer Salk just talking utter bollocks, because Warner Brothers have a pretty good relationship with Embracer Group at the moment. They're developing quite a lot of movies with Embracer Group, standalone movies. The Search for Gollum, for instance, or The Hunt for Gollum, whatever. Warner Brothers is making Lord of the Rings movies, and they're working with Embracer. So I think this is Jennifer Salk just talking utter drivel, just talking out of her arsehole. But it definitely is a threat. This is, she's really threatening us. So let's just take a look and see. Jennifer Salk, the head of Amazon MGM Studios, recently shared that the company is talking about potentially purchasing the rights to the Lord of the Rings from Embracer Group. Now, the reason why I think that this is not necessarily just posturing, as much as I've just said Embracer has a good working relationship with Warner Brothers, is somehow, some way, the Tolkien estate obviously like what Amazon is doing. Because, of course, they've got the Rings of Power, and the Tolkien estate's worked with them, and they've got a deal with the Tolkien estate, and so that would help, I guess. I don't know, but maybe. It's just insane. So, basically, in an interview with Variety, Salk was asked by KJ Yossman, quote, Embracer, who've had a rocky 18 months, currently own the majority of Tolkien's IP. Could we see a situation in which Amazon potentially acquires the company? Please don't. And Salk replied, we're always talking about those opportunities, but I don't have anything to share right now. Now, the hint there is obviously we're talking about... it's a pretty open question, isn't it? It's pretty straight to the point. Could Amazon buy that company? Yeah, we're talking about opportunities. Got nothing to share, but we're talking about it. And Embracer has had a pretty bad run of it. Culture, I don't know if you can share more about Embracer's pretty bad run of it lately.
Well, Embracer has managed to kill a bunch of game studios, the most famous of which is related to the Saints Row video game. When they rebooted that, they absolutely destroyed Volition. That will never return. They've bought too many things all at once, and then didn't have an effective way to manage them and or push them to success. They managed to run their stock down to about $11 a share. At least as far as what the value overall would be. They actually are divided up into 10 different operative groups. That's how complicated their system is. And one of the things they also bought and destroyed was THQ. If you remember, THQ is a video game company.
Yeah, they did some wrestling games.
Yeah, they acquired Dark Horse Media, which is how they ended up with some of these other properties that we enjoy. And they own Gearbox Software. I believe in Crystal
made one
Dynamics.
of the worst Alien games of all time.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of them. They really do. They really have destroyed almost everything they've touched. The guy that's in charge of Embracer Group, Lars Wingefors, owns about 17% of the company. which is a giant chunk. And he's managed to convince other people that he should be allowed to buy anything he wants, which includes Square Enix Montreal. Obviously, we talked about THQ, and just many others. So the other things he's purchased: mobile game companies, obviously retailers related to games. They bought a bunch of stuff. All of it's run largely into the ground. So it is what it is.
That's what they did, didn't they? They went through a phase of like quick expansion. They were just buying up everything all the time, but it just went back to sort of, kick them in the nuts, basically. It's pretty insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that the chap, that Lars guy? Isn't that the chap that owns a bit of, I could be wrong here, but doesn't he own a bit of Conan?
Yes, he does. That's exactly correct. I was about to jump to that because he acquired Dark Horse and a few other things as well. So they bought, let's see, they bought 3D Realms. This is back in 2021. They bought Gearbox. You guys remember that? I reported that. Easy Brain, Aspire. They bought Aspire. I think that was with Saber Interactive. Or maybe they bought it from them. I don't know. 3D Realms, of course. Ghost Ship Games, which I think they're going out of business or closed or something. Just there, so many things have closed. Dark Horse Comics, Dark Horse Entertainment, Perfect World Entertainment. They did
Jeff to be.
Think about all the IPs they control. From Square Enix specifically. Like Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, Legacy of Kain. They bought Middle Earth Enterprises, which is how the media rights could be transferred to Amazon. Would be to purchase the Middle Earth Enterprises from them outright, or just buy Embracer Group, which they could actually do. They have enough money, and they expanded into and bought Limited Run Games and promptly ruined that. They own Quantic Lab. They own a bunch of things that are right now involved in propaganda games. Trying to go through everything again, the things they acquire, they destroy, and they do it very quickly. Think about the fact that, right about the time they acquired Gearbox, they were in the decision-making mode as far as what to do with that terrible film they just released. The one that's based on Borderlands. That thing, they kind of reinvested some money into, and it tanked. It's just there's a lot of weirdness going on in the world.
You know what's mad to me about Embracer, right? Like, how do you buy Lord of the Rings for $400 million, right? Which is nothing. No. Right, you buy the rights to the Lord of the Rings for $400 million, and it's estimated to be worth $2 billion.
Yeah,
and you've done fuck all with it. You've done nothing with it, really.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing: part of their collapse was in turning around and selling Gearbox Entertainment. Take-Two bought that from them, so they didn't spend the money to make that terrible film, but they sure got laughed at with the release of the terrible film. They didn't have Gearbox for but 3 years, not even that long. They've been in big trouble. They're sitting on over $1.5-2 billion in debt, easy, that they need to take care of.
Just make some Lord of the Rings stuff. You'd make loads of money.
Well, and then
I just don't understand.
Yeah, and then the beginning this summer, they continued the sell off. They sold off Shiver Entertainment to Nintendo.
Mad.
Yeah, it's wild. I'm watching the number of things they've turned over this year. It's insane. But just consider this: they still employ over 12,000 people, and they still have 106 studios. 106 studios.
Yeah. I got a friend that worked for the corporate office of Amazon, and she hated it there and no longer works there. She said it's probably one of the worst companies she's ever worked for in her entire life.
Well, they might be buying Lord of the Rings then.
What's the best thing that they put out there? The Boys?
The best thing that Amazon puts out is not things which they make, just things
Right.
that they distribute. So,
Yeah.
the Terminal
Reacher.
List is fantastic.
Yeah, Terminal List, Jack Ryan, which was
Well,
which was a good
Reacher
show.
Reacher was acceptable until what's his nuts opened his mouth.
Oh
What a
God,
meathead.
no. Yeah.
Jesus.
So Embracer Group is Amazon.
No.
No.
So explain it to me.
Embracer Group is a separate entity, like a
Right.
separate company, completely
Yeah.
separate. And Amazon wants to buy or is potentially thinking about trying to get the rights to Lord of the Rings from Embracer
Oh,
Group.
sorry. I see. So who is Embracer Group then? Are they owned by someone bigger?
Just a huge company, basically.
They're just their own conglomerate.
Lars Wingfors is the guy that basically founded the group. He owns 17% of the stock, and
they rose pretty fast over the last few years.
Yeah,
over the last like 4 years or so, I guess.
And
lots
so
of
in the last few years, they tried to buy an empire. It sounds like they tried to make not monopoly, but they just went all out on just a big, massive splurge. Is that what they did? Embracer Group.
Yeah, that's probably a good way to describe it. Yeah.
Okay. It sounds to me like a classic case of overextension.
Oh yeah.
And it sort of doesn't matter how much money you've got. Kind of, you can overextend, right? I think of the Royal Bank of Scotland, RBS. They went through a period of buying loads of other banks, even big banks, and small changes happen in the markets, and they're done. Or even whole empires. The Roman Empire overextends to the east, and small little changes in power here and there, and suddenly they're at the mercy of the world. You know.
Can I just remind you, Bo, that you guys destroyed the world by allowing China to reappropriate Hong Kong?
Hong Kong.
We only ever had it off them for a 99-year lease. We were always going to give it back.
Yeah, you should have re-upped your lease, bro.
Well, anything else to add on this? Amazon maybe buying Lord of the Rings. I mean, they won't do anything good with it, but anything else to add?
No, they're just basically taking money and throwing it right in the fire.
It does sound like the first thing you said that this Jennifer Salk had said. There's talks. It just sounds like that's nothing, right? It just sounds like,
dude. Okay, so interestingly enough, the reason I put the stinger together the way that I did is if you look at Jennifer Salke and that what's her name, Williford Clark or the chick that plays Guy Ladriel. Did I get her name right? Anywhere close? Winifred. Anyway, they look an awful lot of like this. Like Stalky wanted a self-insert actress. I mean, kind of like what like KK does, self-inserting herself everywhere. So this is very strange. Moyfred, that's what it is. I knew it was some weird name. Thank you, Davina. I'm like, what the heck is this name? Yeah, what Moyfred? Is that a normal British name? Can somebody help me with this?
That looks Welsh to me.
It's that's bloody Welsh.
Talking about Morford Clark.
Yeah,
he's Welsh.
So where's she from the Valley?
Oh, it's a he.
She.
Oh,
Morford Clark, the woman Galadriel.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's a weird name, dude.
yeah, that's proper old school Brythonic.
Yeah, there she is.
Welsh spelling.
There she is. Look at her and look at her. Wow. They could be.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, are they the ones that have a trans kid or something?
What?
I saw something. Her and her husband.
Who? Who's her and her? There's two women on fucking screen.
The Morford. Oh, that other person was a woman.
Yeah. Yeah. See the lady on the right there.
Yeah, and then on the left,
that's
a
Jennifer
woman?
Salke. No, that's a dude.
That's a bloke.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Slight miscommunication. That's all.
Yeah.
That's Vernon Sanders. That's the head of television. The chick on the right is the charge of MGM Studios.
Nick, I get some coffee, mate.
Yeah, dude.
I
Wake
need
up.
it.
Pay attention.
I was up watching I was up late watching all the hurricane coverage.
I'm trying to help you out. Anyway,
So I got like 3 hours of sleep before I jumped in here.
People
Wait,
saying he looks like
couldn't
David Lammy.
He does, yeah.
He looks more like Ainsley
No,
Harriott.
he looks a little bit more intelligent than David Lammy.
Mm.
All right, well, anyway, less of this stuff. We'll move on.